our story. Welcome to this. It's not how we're gonna start it.
I feel like it should. Well, you've said we wanted a theme song. That could be it.
Okay, Rachel, tell me what it was like the first time you met me.
I can't do this. I quit. I quit.
It's very simple because I'm such a charming and
It's not fair. You have improv training. Everything else?
Go on.
I don't think this is part of the training though. I think you just came like this. I almost didn't hire Emily because of this. It's not true.
The world would have been a very devastating place.
So the story about how we met.
Yes.
It's like a meet cute story. Kind of. It's romantic.
How did my resume make it to the top of the pile?
How did your resume make it to the top of the
Is
pile?
that a bug?
So I don't even know how your resume made it to the top of the pile. How did it make it?
I don't know because
We got
I
a decent amount of
spelled
application.
the name of the person that I was applying to. I spelled it wrong.
But I was the name of the person you were applying to.
It was Janet, but I spelled it Jane.
Did you really?
Yeah.
And I still put you, because I'm very that's weird.
I know.
No, I don't know how it made it to the top. But I did know, I don't know, I think I just liked your qualifications. I like that you were a generalist. I feel like you had a lot of experience, and I like that because I felt like I was too, or I am, whatever, also. So I was just like, oh, another generalist, not somebody who's focused on just design or just whatever. So I think I really like that about you. But I remember you came in for the interview, and it's just like your energy. I'm not like a big like energy normally person, but I really liked your energy.
I have a lot.
She had a lot. But you were also a little bit nervous, but still like you were friendly and like, I don't know, I just like the way you answered the questions. Again, I like that you're a generalist. I just got a good vibe from you. Mm-hmm. And the person you were interviewing with was not that type of person. She was more.
I assumed I wasn't going to get the job because like this woman hated me from the moment I walked in the room.
She definitely didn't hate you.
She fully hated me and then proceeded to make my life a living hell, but that's a story for another day. So I went in and I was like, I have nothing to lose right now because I have this like contract position and it's going to be okay and I'm going to make them stay.
Were you somewhere?
I was working at this place, which is now defunct, nonprofit kind of membership-y kind of association. And anyway, my contract was about to end, and I was about to get on a flight to Las Vegas to premiere my first feature film, which is actually just my boyfriend's feature film, and now I'm Moira Rose somehow. Anyway, I was going to Las Vegas like the next day, and then I went in and I was like, I have zero things to lose. This lady seems cool. I had no idea you were even pregnant because you're about to go on mat leave, and then you were like, "Look, I'm pregnant."
Oh,
I was
like, what?
I
I was like 6-7 months pregnant.
Yeah. You were behind a table, so I couldn't tell.
That's right.
Anyway, Rachel was really nice, and then the other lady was like really mean. So I just assumed I didn't get the job.
So the other lady she was, but that even then, like she just had a different interview style. Forget like mean or not, like totally like let's ask the technical questions, and I'm not. I'm more like, you know this character over skill, but you had the skills too. But I just really like the character, and I was like, we're gonna have to work together and spend so much time together, even though I was leaving on mat leave. We're gonna have to do all that. So like how do we again vibe? How does this work well? And then I asked a couple questions. I just loved your answers, and then you left, and I knew right away. I was like, okay, like I think we interviewed 4 or 5 people, and I knew right away that I wanted to hire you, and it was great because the team ultimately trusted me because the other lady didn't necessarily agree. She didn't disagree. She was just like, sure, whatever. It's your like report. Although I was leaving a month later, but she was just like, this is your report. Do what you want with it. And
here we are today. So Rachel abandoned me for a full year.
I had a baby.
Oh, it was a heartbreaking time. She has very cute kids, but they're not as cute as me. Am I right?
It's true. Anyway,
I was losing my mind. And then I was like, shit, no, I gotta wait till Rachel comes back. Something was telling me, must wait till Rachel returns. And then I called you 2 or 3 weeks before you came back. And I was like, this woman that hates me so much hates me even more now. And it was a really unfortunate situation. It was like full gaslighting. And I'm not afraid to say that. I'm saying it. I don't care if she watches this, whatever. She was mean. Anyway, so I called you and I was like, how do I deal with this situation? And you gave me some really nice advice. You're like, just kind of wait it out and and it's gonna be okay, and not everybody needs to work 100% of the time, all the time like she does. Maybe it's just her thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be yours.
Yeah.
And I came back. Oh, and it made my life so much better. It was so great, and we worked so well together.
We worked really, really well together. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun, like a ton of, like, we shared an office. It was like a tight little office. It wasn't actually, it was probably bigger than what we have now even.
It was bigger than what we have now for sure.
And we just had a blast. And I think like, and I say this all the time, the most important thing is like we just respected each other's style. We were both very similar in some ways, but both very different in their working styles. And we totally respected each other's styles and time and personalities, and so that's why it worked so well, right? And like I knew where you excelled, and you knew where I did, and it was very much more of, I hope, more like we were coworkers. It was more of a partnership, like right from the get-go. 100%,
which I really appreciated. By the way, Rachel was my boss for like 5 years, but now she's not.
But it wasn't like that. It was just like,
no, I mean, otherwise I don't think this would have worked.
It was, you said. It wasn't. It wasn't like that, you're saying.
Forget what I said. It wasn't not a good working relationship.
Yeah, no, it was obviously a great working relationship, and I think like there was a lot of growing on both of our parts and like during that time, and which was really fun. We learned a lot. So fast forward a few years, and no, even like fast forward like before this, even fast forward a few years, about a year and a half ago. No, maybe more.
Yeah, around that.
Almost 2 years ago, you started really looking at like leaving a full-time job for many reasons, but mainly like you just wanted to, like you were ready to go out on your own or try something on your own, and
yeah, and like you had been encouraging me the whole time, and we talked about having an agency like for so many years already before that. I don't even remember how long ago it was, but it was nice. It was nice to have that kind of support. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you were ready to go, and I was not ready, and I loved my job at the time, and there was a lot of things I wasn't happy with, but I was still in a good place, and I also had like 2 kids at home, and I was like, I can't take that risk. So you left. We freelanced together, basically. Tried to send like as many clients as I could to M, and like we worked on a bunch of stuff together. And then earlier this year, I left my job. That's also a different story for another day. But I left my job, and I was like, okay, like let's get like freelance together and let's work together. And every few months, Emily would like drop like a text message or a phone call or something saying, okay, look, you're gonna come work with me.
Yeah,
you're just gonna come work with me. And the idea was amazing. But I was just, again, I felt like I had so many responsibilities, and it just wasn't the right time. It's never the right time, whatever. But I was sort of, in a way, forced into the situation. But even when I had left my job, I was looking for a full-time job, and I was interviewing. And every time I interviewed at a place, I got excited by it, but I still wasn't, like, sure if it was, And in the meantime, we picked up our freelance even more. And then we were in like a strategy session one day, and you and I
So Rachel's like, I'm going to start doing strategy sessions for small businesses. And I'm like, okay, sure. She's like, can I pilot this on you? I'm like, okay, great. How much is it? And she's quoting me. I'm like, all right, sure, I can do. I never paid you for that, by the way.
You owe me money. I never invoiced you for that.
So she's writing everything down.
There's a reason.
It sounds like it's like all a part of this like master plan she had to try to get me to be her partner. The whole time I'm like, so when's she gonna be asking me this? Like, is this happening now or what? And she's like, okay, so here's another option for you. We could do 50-50 split and we'll just be partners. I'm like, well, duh, I've been waiting for this for 5 years, buddy. Come on.
It's like a proposal almost. It was like an elaborate proposal.
It was a very elaborate business-like proposal.
It really was. No, in all honesty, when I came in that day, I had always been thinking about trying to do something with you, but when I came in that day, I was not. Like, that wasn't the intention.
Really?
Yeah, no, it really wasn't the intention. It wasn't the intention because, like, again, I hadn't really... I wasn't sure if I was ready to really commit to that. And it's different when you're on your own, and I'm like, oh, I want to start a business. It's just me by myself. Who cares? But for you, like to say it to somebody else and then having to, like, let's just say I would try it for a few months and then abandon you, basically, I just couldn't do that. So I had to really be comfortable with that commitment. But then as we were doing it, and I realized how, like the strategy session, I realized how fun it was, and like all the things that we were talking about and all the goals that you had. And then I was like, oh, I wonder if we could push this a little harder. And I was like, and then I kept thinking like we instead of like you. And I was like, you know what? Let's do it, man.
It's my magnetism. What can I say?
It's definitely one of the reasons I didn't want to do this.
We're friends. It was a great session, and so I went home. You were like, talk to Justin about it. Justin's my partner. He's very nice. Anyway, you were
not
like,
her business partner.
He's my romantic partner. She's my business partner. So I went home and I was like, I gotta talk to Justin. I gotta tell you this thing. Rachel told me I have to tell you this. And I say to him, she wants to go 50-50 on this business. He's like, well, yeah, obviously. Like, when I thought this already was happening. Like, everyone knew it. So then here we are today. And we have done so many things in the last couple of months. Like, I don't even know. I moved from this like hourly office rental thing, which is when you proposed to me, and then
so romantic.
and then I moved into a co-working space with a permanent desk, and you moved into a co-working hourly thing, and now we're in this office which has this cool wallpaper, and we have an employee. What? Someone works for us. We're responsible for her payment. It's so nice.
Hire us. We have to pay people.
We have to pay people. I would not trade this for the world.
No.
This is so great, and I'm gonna have to bleep that out. But anyway,
you won't, or you will?
I'm gonna have to, because we can't be explicit.
Okay, bleep it out.
I want to be explicit right now. I love working with Rachel. That's my
it's pretty great working with me.
Word.
It's true. It's pretty great.
Phrase.
Honestly, it is really, really great. We've always, both of us have had like side hustles or things and never, I don't know, I felt like I never really fully committed to going out on my own. I think there was like one time before I got married for a few months but having a partner makes it a lot easier to commit because, when
so much easier.
When one of us is like tired or overwhelmed or just wants to like quit, which is like 10 times a day. Mm-hmm. The other one usually either picks up the slack or motivates or inspires or whatever it is, and which is amazing, right? Because when you're on your own, and Emily spent a year on her own, I know because she told me how extremely lonely and hard.
It's very hard. But that is for episode 2 of our podcast / video series. And that's our story. So
it only makes me do things that make me uncomfortable. But I feel like I'm going to end up really loving the camera and like just...
how can you not? It's just...
taking over. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Signing off, I've been Emily Milling. You have to say your name.
No.
Wait.
Do we have to look directly at this camera?
No, you don't have to. You can look at me.
Right? Okay. I really want to look at the camera the whole time. Okay. If I look at the camera and then I look at you, is it weird?
No.
It's making me nervous. I can't. It's gonna take 7 hours.
Is your phone in the shot? Just put it over there.
Is it?
I see it.
No, seriously, what the on my phone? You're gonna edit out stuff, right?
So everything that we've been recording so far stays in this show.
It's like that. Such a loser.
That's funny.